And now, our feature presentation.
Jerry Brown, my heart smiles and never frowns. Soon I will be president. Cloud of power will soon go away. I will be here one day. I will command all of you. Your kids are meditate in school. Your kids are meditate in school. California, over Alice. California, over Alice. Over Alice. California, over Alice, California. Psychiatrists will control you, 100% natural. You will draw for the master race and always wear the happy face. Close your eyes, can't happen here. They go on while yours is near. The hippies won't come back, you say. Mellow out or you will pay. Mellow out or you will pay. California, over Alice. California, over Alice. Over Alice. California, over Alice. California.
Hold up. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry about that. Go on.
Hey guys, I'm Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I'm Krüz.
And welcome to Subwuffer Entertainment, our determinedly drunk, geeky, and cheerful podcast where wolves we house and stream we entertain, bringing you all latest entertainment news. That's a lot like a music appreciation class. We talk about what's going on in certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. And that song that you were listening to was...
That was California Uber Alice by the Dead Kennedys off of... Now, there's two different versions of this. There's one that's a little bit slower. That was on Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. This was the little bit faster version, more of a single, that came out on Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables.
Okay. So, how are you guys doing? We had a bit of a bitch of an episode yesterday.
Yesterday? You mean last week?
Yeah, last week. I keep forgetting that we're actually, yesterday means last week and last week means last month, and yeah, keep going.
Now, we're talking about then now. We're talking about now.
So how are you guys doing today?
Well, there's an absence of football noises in my house, so that's pretty good.
Yep. I mean, there probably is going to be some, I don't know. Probably not going to be having when it comes back. Says Ravens got a much needed win in Seattle.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that. Anyway, we're going to jump.
Bears game is still going on.
Yeah. S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes and helping you be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please don't feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate, it is greatly appreciated.
A stream deck would be nice.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. A stream deck would be nice, except...
And then I could just have memes. Anytime we come up with anytime something like specific happened, I'd have a meme for that.
So it's just going to be Stream Deck for memes and like functionality, basically.
Essentially, and then I could use it for so many other things.
Memes. I totally understand what you're getting at, and I am wholeheartedly down for this. So, guys, in case you didn't notice, I believe it is Basement Con is going on this weekend. You may be asking, well, what the fuck? Why aren't you doing Basement Con right now? Well, that's because Basement Con is actually pre-recorded. So the pre-recording that is going on, where Boozy et al. is basically doing is, it's going to be post-commentary, and then we're going to have our own thing that we're going to do, hopefully. However, we will talk about Basement Con in the near future, hopefully soon, but we'll just have to wait and see. Before we start our show, is there anything that we want to talk about?
Don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm just going to turn off my TV real quick, but,
Turn off your
Krüz,
TV.
I will let you go get started with this one before I go sit up and turn off my TV.
All right. Well, we are going to start our lovely agenda that we have today with music with Krüz. Krüz, go.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me put my... No, not in the beer. I almost dropped my keys in my beer glass cup thing. Yes, hello. Oh. I have to scream. For a second. My room is Yeah. Cold. It's
Also, sorry about trying to get your intro in. I accidentally hit it double clicked for whatever reason, so that's why I had to say, "Oh, go again."
Yeah.
No.
Sorry about that. Anyway, go.
Cold. It's all your tape.
Krüz, I
Oh
need to go
wait,
turn
that's
off my
the
TV.
wrong song. That's the one that's called "Cold" by Korn. This one's a little bit different because it's by a different person who looks sort of like
You're beautiful.
Henry Bacon.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. No. All right.
It's like
That was obnoxious. That was obnoxious as fuck. Anyway, Krüz, continue.
this guy James Rolla Blunt is, I would probably make the name, but that's not his name. That's because I'm trying to be funny. Yeah, it does kind of look like Kevin Bacon a little bit. Along with "I Told You," Champions, and Monsters. Not really sure how he's gonna pop music is gonna make those things unless it's like it's where my demon's head. It's like it's just you're just exploiting this to just make the fans of the fairer sex moister than an oyster, as another YouTuber would say. But I don't know if this album cover indicates that he's using hair dye, but I don't know. It'll wash down the river and it'll be near you for access on October 25th. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I have arrived somewhere.
Excuse me, good sir. Good sir in chat.
Yeah, I don't want to say that this is a troll, but I don't know if
It might be, but the Bears kind of do suck. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
well, there's another NFL memes about Bears offense, special teams, defense, special teams, and then offense. Like with the meme with the three-headed dragon. One of them just looks all... Yeah. Well, whatever. Maybe I could have music. If things become an issue, then we'll figure it out. But if not, I'm really concerned about this guy's hair dye running out.
James Blunt's hair dye?
I unless he's, bleeding black blood, I don't really know what else you could say. Get this man in amber lamps.
All right, have you actually finished your piece about James Blunt?
Oh, yeah.
For the record, my mom actually listened to James Blunt Once Upon a Time, and there was only 2 songs that were ever listened to because the rest were either explicit lyrics because I have to be a conservative housewife to make sure that my child isn't listening to, music with cursing language in it. Well, you know what? I don't care. So,
what does he say, frick? Like, please, fucking pussy. I mean, what? Please.
Anyway, with James Blunt, I really don't know how to feel about. I know some of his music. I know people are annoyed by You're Beautiful or Goodbye My Lover, Goodbye My Friend, which I really do not like. But anyway, that is really all I have to say about James
What's yours? That reminds something. What was the movie about Stephen Hawking called? Was it called A Beautiful Mind, or is that something else?
The Theory of Everything.
That's what
Stephen
it was.
Hawking.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought it was something else. Okay.
Yeah. Naka, your thoughts?
I don't care. I'll be honest. James Blunt is one of those musicians. Actually, apparently he can drive a tank, according to Jeremy Clarkson. Can James Blunt drive a tank?
Are you seriously?
Well, that's has he driven a tank? I guess.
Are you seriously
He was-
Googling that?
He was in the British Army.
Cool.
He was in the British Army before he became a musician.
I didn't know that. Then how did he become so goddamn soft? I mean, am I wrong?
Do you want to ask that to Mr. Rogers? Do you want to ask that to Bob Ross?
Bob Ross.
I don't fucking know.
Mr. Rogers, apparently I've looked into lore. Apparently it was not true. Apparently. The Army came out with a statement and said Mr. Rogers was not in the Army or something. I don't know. That's what I know. But I appreciate the theories. I don't know.
Anyway, it's James Blunt music. I think you could recognize it when it comes on. I don't care. I'm more interested in these next 2. So, Krüz, take it away.
Yes.
Well, I get stuff that's less annoying and more enjoying. The French. Well, hold on to your ass. About to get bone rattly loud up in here. So, Airbourne. Easily hailed as the spiritual successor to AC/DC, although AC/DC still is hanging around. Airbourne has been delivering slammin' groovin rock since 2003, and again, I've only listened to a few songs, mostly because I simply just enjoyed listening to them so much I couldn't be bothered to look for others. Well, that's going to change now, since the new album, Boneshaker, an album name that very much follows the AC/DC theme, and I guess the look too. It's a little more like the what's called fighter pilot glasses. It could easily be like an Airbourne. I mean, obviously Airbourne division kind of logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'll be available over October 25th, and I'm gonna love to have me some new rock and roll to listen to. Yeah, the other tracks were okay. I like the title track most, which is why I linked that one. Boneshaker. The others are Backseat Boogie and She Gives Me Hell, not to be confused with this other song by the All American Rejects. But yeah, the other ones they're okay, more okay, but yeah, I think there's gonna be some good stuff in this album. I might not get the whole album, but I'm definitely gonna look through it to see what I like and just pick that out of it.
Boneshaker? You mean the A-Class meta car in Forza Horizon 4? I don't like that.
Ready?
Okay, so
I'm kidding. I love Airbourne. They're great. I actually prefer them over AC/DC. So
serious talk. I was actually listening to Airbourne, and I'm not gonna lie, I bopped my head a little bit. It sounded really awesome.
he bopped.
When metal is not always freaking. I'm going to be so angry and so sad and so stoic that I have to bitch about it. No offense. I mean,
Rocket League. Oh, I play Rocket League. Rocket League's really fun. I haven't played it in a while. Fuck. I was gonna play it earlier just to make sure my rank didn't go away. I'm like, fuck, because I don't remember. I don't remember how long the thing is.
OT, Krüz. OT.
T.
Off topic.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway.
Great podcast, by the way.
So regarding Airbourne, I really do like it. I really do enjoy it. I don't know if I would ever go to I would go to a concert with you guys if we're actually eating and enjoying their music. I would have fun, but that's really all I have to say regarding
Dinner
Airbourne.
and a show.
I prefer these guys over AC/DC, I'll be honest.
Man, come on. Without AC/DC, you wouldn't have them. You understand
That's
that?
true, but
That's true.
it's just my preference.
What I can see the appreciation of this because
think of it this way:
not a
if we
lot of
didn't
bands
have-
existed in the same era, and what I mean is that you realize how thrash metal sounded like in the '80s aesthetically, like the it's more like muffled and studio sounds, and like now we have like the recent album from Testament sounding like clean cut production. That's the advantage Airbourne has with starting there with like cleaner production versus AC/DC starting with just what was available at the time and also moving to better production. So yeah, I guess that's a interesting like not rift, but like as soon as like things like there's some definite shifts. Like definitely when Judas Priest put out Painkiller, it was definitely a shift in style also. But yeah. That's pretty good.
So like for regarding Airbourne, I do think like with some of the I was gonna say regarding AC/DC related to Airbourne, if we didn't have AC/DC, we wouldn't have Liv Tyler because Liv Tyler is a really good actress and yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say regarding Airbourne. Who's clipping their nails on the air? You know what?
It's probably the sound of my wheel that I have on my desk.
I see. All right. Well, that's really all I have to say about Airbourne. I think we've said our pieces. So, Krüz?
Well, furry trash.
Is this NiCkLebAcK?
Yeah, that's I've seen that in the comments of videos from this band, Bad Wolves, N.A.T.I.O.N. That spells nation. I don't know. They don't swear. Angry
Excuse
Bird.
you.
So yeah. Is this NiCkLebAcK? Firstly, fuck off. First of all, they're not Canadian. They are from Los Angeles. Second of all, even though they've released some more Daughtry-esque modern rock vibe, displayed more so on this album than the last one, because, again, the last album had Hear Me Now, featuring Diamant, who, she is a very good singer. Some other, like, not softer, but, like, mellow songs. This definitely has more mellow songs, like Sober is really mellow. Crying Game is like there's another difference between like is this NiCkLebAcK? No, because this band has a drummer that uses double bass, not like I don't know, some whoever is uglier than Chad Kroger. I don't know. I actually don't know what the drummer looks like. I don't give a shit. But yeah, I can describe this shift in kind of what happened with Volbeat. So, like Volbeat, there are remnants of their heavier past on the album. I'll Be There, I guess, which is a single release, was obviously more sounding like Learn to Live off of their debut album, Disobey. Fun fact, 3,000 noodles, 3 frozen noodles. My uncle owns a 51 Cavalier Mustang, and I've gotten to ride in it before, and it was really fun. So for Volbeat, in that case, like on their last album, it would be Everlasting and Cheapside Sloggers, because that song, the latter song, features Gary Holt from Exodus/Slayer. Other songs like Killing Me Slowly, I can see how that gets more of like that kind of rock vibe, the modern rock radio vibe, whatever thing. Yeah, they're more on the rock side, but I think that I'm hoping that based on the title, it's just going to be more of the heavy shit again. Yeah, and it's hard for bands to really, at this point, they just had one album, and that was like, they're trying to find their identity with that. And I think No Masters is honestly my favorite from the first album. And I have talked about this band, how they got known, especially what started really with their cover of Zombie, and also their relationship with Five Finger Death Punch, since guitar player Zoltan Bathory is their manager. I believe he still is. I don't know if anything's changed since then. And Tommy, their singer, also filled in for Ivan while he was in rehab. So they've also toured together. In addition to that, hopefully there'll be more hard tracks in this album. If not, then well, just whatever. I'll just listen to the ones that I like. And honestly, Tommy's voice is, really solid, and he can also actually he doesn't really scream or growl, but he's like like more of like aggressive singing. I don't know what I call it. Kind of like, I don't know. You'll know when you hear it. I would honestly recommend listening to I'll Be There. Honestly, that's my favorite so far on this album. And I believe that the woman that you see pictured on this cover is the same one who was on the cover for the I'll Be There as a single release, except you see her, she's like lying on a pool table. Because I see the same tattoo. I think it's a Stay Cold, and that like, I don't know, Ed Hardy looking wolf in the middle. So yeah, I think honestly it's kind of the same person, probably is. Yeah, October 25th, join the Bad Wolves Nation, and yeah, so I'm not disappointed. I guess it sounds disappointed, but I'm glad that they're really, I guess trying to find their own identity. Remains to be seen whether they've really found like a groove or whether they're just going with like the Volbeat approach of having some like easy radio friendly songs and other like hard heavy songs. It seems like that's what they're doing.
I mean, it's only their second album.
I know. So
if
like
you think about
it's hard to really tell at this point. And the whole album isn't even out yet, so that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I was listening to Bad Wolves, and I was kind of like, there was like one thing that was sticking in my mind. I'm like, why do they sound so good? And I'm like, huh. And then I like did some research. I'm like, oh shit, they've been around for a while. So I am hoping that this album's going to be great.
At the very least, their members have been. They were formed fairly recently. I forget exactly what year, but each of their members has been in bands before, and hence the term supergroup. Each member comes from at least a more established band, and they've all come together. So they are, I guess, a rock metal supergroup. Like hell yeah is. There you go.
That's really all I have to say regarding Bad Wolves. Naka?
Again, they're still trying to find their own groove, but no matter where they end up, they're just going to sound great.
Okay.
I'm not going to stop you from recommending this because they're great guys. They're great musicians and support great musicians. I might not I can still understand when people are great musicians and I can not like their music because it's not my style of music, And wherever Bad Wolves ends up, I'll find a way I'll still enjoy them. That makes sense?
No, yeah, that does make sense, actually. But, yeah. Krüz, is there any more music on the agenda?
There is not, so, well, that's where we're going to end this part. We're going to go to more back on the racing side.
We're going to Can's ass.
Can's ass?
Okay, I'll be honest.
Ah, shit, dude.
Well, with today's round of 12 cutoff race, I actually didn't watch most of it. I was on a stream over at twitch.tv/zero ducks given with the O in zero being a zero. Doing a collaboration automation/BMNG stream. So for most of the race, I was over there, and I can't really talk about the race that much other than the last cup, 40 laps, action-packed. I'll give it that. But Talladega last week was probably the best race of the year with a finish margin of 7/1000ths of a second. Seeing Ryan Blaney just edge out Ryan Newman, locking himself into the round of 8 alongside Kyle Larson, who won at Dover. There was a bit of an issue with scoring that they let one driver finish 11th when he shouldn't have because of a rule concerning certain foam in the car that cannot be replaced that was shredded to bits. But whatever. They forgot about that. Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Clint Boyer, and William Byron either needed a win or just a fantastic luck and a great points day to win today. Drivers needed to roll the dice to capture a spot into the round of 8, which saw Denny Hamlin win, and Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott were fighting for the cutoff for the bubble spot for that 8th place to get in, and by 3 points because Keselowski, got tight on the end of a restart, had a little bit of a tire up, and ended up falling back on the final 2 restarts. That's what gave the position to Chase Elliott, who finished 2nd. So, the cut drivers who will not be racing to contend for a championship at Homestead in 4 weeks are Alex Bowman, Clint Boyer, William Byron, and Brad Keselowski. 4 Bs.
Wow. So is that it for the racing, or do you have more?
That's it, because there's not much. Earlier in the week, somebody from Miami proposed, somebody proposed to the FIA, which is, they're a giant sanctioning body. They manage a whole bunch of stuff. But somebody proposed to the F1, or somebody, I'm not sure who, but like a Miami Grand Prix, which would basically be a street circuit around the Dolphin Stadium they have in Miami. And I sent that to a couple of my friends. It'd just be like, hey, it's the 2021 Florida Man Grand Prix, because we all know what comes out of Florida. Man robs bank with catfish to go home and feed his cat spleens.
That's actually kind of funny.
We move on to something interesting.
That happened this week.
In gaming news. Ikumi Nakamura and Hideki Kamiya announced Okami sequel in the works. I don't know what else to say since I don't have a connection. Do you want to take it away, Scarfy?
Yeah. So basically Okami is this franchise where you basically play as a goddess of the sun, Amaterasu. She basically is a wolf, and you basically are trying to fight evil through the lands of Nippon, or in this case, Japan. I would recommend you playing it, Naka, because it is available on the Xbox. So, but
I also own a Switch.
Well, that too, if you want to play it. And I do mean this in the most positive way, if you have time, because you're a very, very busy guy.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm. I am indeed very busy.
I mean, here's the thing. I love Okami. I really hope it does get a sequel. Really, the only thing I can hope for is, that the sequel is actually good, because we actually go from PS2 to Nintendo DS with Okami Den. And I do have to point something out. You do need to play both of those games if you want to play the sequel. If you want to play the sequel. And I have a copy of Okami Den on the Nintendo DS. I just haven't really spent a whole lot of time playing it because, well, I have university and I have a huge backlog of games that I need to play because I need to finish university and get my degree so I can get a better job and go do what I want to do. So, but yeah, if you ever get the chance,
the feels.
If you ever get a chance to play Okami, I would highly recommend you playing it on the Xbox. However, you can also pick it up on the Nintendo Switch. I personally got the Sony version because it did come out on Sony first, and Capcom is amazing. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, yeah. It's good. It's good to know that the official creator of Okami, who's not part of Clover Studios since they went out of business a long time ago, is now saying that, oh shit, we're going to make another Okami sequel. This is going to be great. So,
and
yeah.
Hopefully it's spooky.
Mine's been a hot minute.
I love Ikumi Nakamura. She is adorable.
Why do you like Akumi? You liked Akumi Nakamura in this particular video?
Yeah. Did you not watch her? Did you not watch the E3 press conference where she was at, where she announced the game, and she just went, "It's spooky."
No, I didn't. Sorry. But yeah, that's really all I have to say regarding the game. Hopefully, Hideki Kamiya doesn't act like a fucking troll, but that's all I have to say, and continues to ban people on Twitter. But yeah, Okami sequel, it's happening. That's all I can say. I'm really happy. Krüz, anything with you? You've been playing Okami a little bit and you really enjoy it.
Yeah. I've stopped playing it, but I think I wanted to maybe pick it up on Switch actually, but I think I'll probably wait till this comes out. Maybe it will be probably next year, I'd imagine. Then I don't know if they set a date or anything, but yeah, that's what I say. Okami sequel when. So
Yeah.
Eventually.
Might have to just do it on the Xbox just for the gamer score. But I don't know. I think this past. Not this
Guys,
past,
it's a video game where you literally play as a wolf. There can be nothing better than that.
Yeah, but I don't get to pee on fire hydrants and eat children.
Eat children. It's like that meme of fucking Alex Jones. I like to eat children. The editing is brilliant.
Can I go on?
Yes.
We move on to our main announcements with The Legend of Heroes Trials. I keep saying Trials. Trails of Cold Steel 3.
I had to double check to make sure I was reading it right as well.
Yeah, which I will call Cold Steel 3. The third game in the Trails of Cold Steel franchise is finally getting a worldwide release outside of Japan. It's only been about 2 years, but I digress. It's a turn-based battle JRPG with an emphasis on sped-up battles as well as, macros, certain things that you have programmed to certain buttons.
One thing
for battle commands.
This isn't macros like the macros that want to be big in the furry community. No, this is different types of macros. Just making that clear.
No, I know absolutely what I meant. I had no intention of bringing up, those guys. I was actually talking about like certain keybinds and key commands because I have had macros in the past. This is a direct sequel to Cold Steel 1 and 2, picking up 18 months after the events of the second game, with a story centered around Rain Schwarzer, now a military professor, as well as along with his students, and the rest of the military school, and the rest of his military school friends from prior entries. Subjects such as the mysterious origins of his birth and what others have been up to since events of prior games occur in this game. Characters from the Trails of Zero, Trails to Azure, and Trails in the Sky also appear. It's an interesting game, with its North America release set for PS4 on October 22nd.
So I remember Krüz making a comment saying that this was like the most JRPG or something. I forgot what he said.
Yeah, and like the most JRPG in terms of like the things that you say, like, I've got this, like, we have the power, like, the same cheesy shit they all say. And yeah, I guess I mean that in a more affectionate way. But I've not seen either of it Trails of Cold Steel, is that it's a Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. There are more games than just the two previous Cold Steels. Is that correct?
I want to say yes, but I will
I don't know. I mean, I understand how it is with because how I played Mega Man. I've only played Mega Man Star Force, and that was a whole different series. I also watched the anime of it, which was pretty good. The fun fact: Geo is called Subaru, and that series, and I drive a Subaru, so I don't know. That's cool. But it just looks like a very cool style game. It's when I say like these things look the same, but they look the same in a good way. Like this thing is like it's picking up on all the right features, I guess, of a JRPG game.
Jerkpigga.
Yordavak.
Is that it? Is that it for this game?
That's it for me.
All right, moving on to probably the best game coming out this week, at least for me anyway. We have The Outer Worlds. Obsidian Entertainment. You may recognize that name before, and I believe they have outdone themselves here. Because if you remember a certain game, I don't know, you might have heard of it, called Fallout New Vegas, which is very good. You can thank Obsidian for that because, Bethesda published it, Obsidian developed it. And we all know how well Fallout New Vegas was received, which was very good.
Yeah, I picked that up too. I haven't gotten very far in it, but I picked it up and started playing it.
While this is not necessarily in the Fallout universe, you can definitely see a lot of Fallout elements in this game.
Yeah, I very much did. I'm sorry.
In an alternate future where President William McKinley was not killed, Theodore Roosevelt never became president, which then allowed large business trusts to dominate society well into the future, where mega corporations have been colonizing and terraforming alien planets. Your ship's faster than light drive has a SAD while you're in cryosleep, and then you wake up to find out that you are on the outer edge of colonized space, and most of the passengers are still in hibernation. And you begin your journey to a nearby colony to investigate the true nature of the corporations. It's a first-person RPG with character creation, NPC companions and abilities such as special attacks, dialogue decisions that affect the story, many weapon customizations, skill trees. It's Fallout New Vegas, but with a new story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean, believe me, when I say I don't necessarily, it's a bad thing, this is an absolutely great thing that it's basically playing the same as Fallout New Vegas, because Fallout New Vegas is fucking awesome.
Is it better than all the other Fallout games?
A lot of people say it's one of their favorites.
A lot of people say Fallout 3 is the best for whatever reason, even though I don't really know for sure.
Oh, I mean, I haven't played that one, surprisingly, because it's set in Washington, D.C., closer than where I live, but I've also lived, in Massachusetts, I guess sort of just out of the range of where Fallout 4 is set.
Mm.
Yeah. I really don't want to go in further in depth, and I hope this ends up on Xbox Game Pass, because the Obsidian, I believe, is now currently owned by Microsoft, but they are still going to be releasing the game for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. That comes out on the 25th, with a Nintendo Switch port coming in the future. So it's not like Microsoft is saying, hey, this is our property now, you can't do anything with it. They're actually saying, you know what, this game is great, and we still want as many people to play it.
I can definitely concur with that. I agree that they're doing something like that. Well, Bethesda is doing something like that.
Bethesda has nothing to do with this game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was busy looking at Fallout for whatever reason.
You were busy looking at Fallout New Vegas.
No, Fallout 3 to be exact, actually. But the Outer Worlds, I am glad that it's getting, that it is getting the attention it deserves, especially since it's coming from Obsidian. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say. So, it looks interesting. I feel like this is everything that one game, I forgot what it was called, No Man's Sky should have been.
Yeah.
Well, at least No Man's Sky finally embraces, we messed up, but we're going to make the game as good as possible.
Basically, but hey,
Which
that's
is something
really
that Fallout 76 didn't do, am I right?
Am I right? Are you just going to be the Richie of this podcast? Am I right, boys?
Got called away in the Bad Wolf segment. You haven't missed too much, and you'll be able to go back when this goes live.
Anyway, that's really all I have to say about the Outer Worlds. Not too much regarding this one. Anything you want to say, Krüz?
I absolutely picked out Fallout vibes from it, and if I don't know if it was specifically said if the trailer was like if it's just not actual gameplay footage. I didn't notice if it did or didn't say that. If it looks pretty good, and so obviously you can kind of be whatever kind of alliance you want, as is the case with Fallout and how that works. So yeah, this is probably going to be something I might put this actually on my wish list for the holiday season. We'll see about that. Because it'll probably be coming out. No, actually.
It comes out in 5 days. It comes out on Friday.
Yeah, I was going to say put this on the list, and then I was thinking get Doom Eternal myself, but yeah, well.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's something I'm definitely going to want to take a look into and play.
Okay, I can go now with MediEvil. This is a 21-year re-release / remaster for the PS4, as this game was previously released on the PlayStation in 1998.
Damn.
This is a hack and slash adventure game that's fond in a lot of people's hearts, but it turned out to be a mixed bag in critics' eyes. In 1286, an evil sorcerer named Zarek plotted over the kingdom of Galomir with his undead army. It is told in legend that the champion, Sir Daniel Fortesque, led the king of Galamir's army to victory and managed to kill Zarok before he died. Or before he disappeared, I should say. In reality, Dan was struck down by the first arrow fired in the battle, but the king covered it up and declared him the hero, and Zarok went into hiding, comes back 100 years later, to plunge Galamir into eternal night, awaken his undead army, and steal the souls of the living. Action hack and slash, where levels are cleared by completing certain objectives and not dying. There are collectible chalices that are just bonuses, where if you find them all and complete the game with them, you get the true ending. It's an interesting game, and if you remember it like it was, or you want to pick it up for the first time, it releases on PlayStation 4 on October 25th. Lots of PlayStation exclusives this year.
This
week.
I feel like
this
for
year,
this,
or like, has
week.
anything changed?
I feel like for this game, you could basically add just in time for Halloween, because I'm getting severe Halloween feels with this.
It's got a nice, like, sort of goofy vibe to it, cartoony vibe. I think. Now, the skeleton kind of reminded me of like a little bit of Sea of Thieves aesthetic.
Apparently, this game is actually, I mean, it has a good polish. I can't deny that the
thing is, I don't know
polish
how
for
the
first
original one
game-
looks, so I don't really know how to compare it, but I know.
It's all right. If think PlayStation 1 and then think what their graphics look like.
Yeah, kind of like polygonal. and all that.
Basically. But this game,
Was it also a 3D game, or like?
I believe so. I don't really know too much about it.
I don't have a reference point to compare it to, but I think it does look like a pretty goofy game. Probably something that's like something that is brought back, and the fans are like, "Oh yeah, this is finally back." I guess Crash Bandicoot. It did kind of remind me of like a Crash Bandicoot Spyro looking type game, that kind of adventure style game. But yeah, I don't have a PlayStation still, but if you do,
I mean, hey,
go ahead and get one.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This game does look interesting. I mean, I was looking at it and I'm like,
Yeah.
this
It
game
does
actually.
look like very much like a movie poster. Yeah,
It
I
does.
this could
Yeah.
easily be like a Tim Burton movie.
I mean, I'm almost getting like Psychonauts vibes, but I don't really want to go too far and say, oh, well, Psychonauts is a completely different game. So, but other than that, yeah, MediEvil looks really interesting. I don't know if I'll get it
I
anytime
believe
soon.
it's spelled the same, like correctly as medieval, but the emphasis is different, like medieval.
MediEvil.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's worse when
And-
they don't fuck up the spelling. It's like you know, they have a band called Halloween. It's
But they're
Halloween, but it's like
they're
it's
intentionally
distinctly
spelled.
different. It's spelled differently. It's
Right.
not spelled correctly like this is, I believe. Then again, I can't fucking spell because I am just borderline dyslexic. I don't know.
Anyway, that's really all I have to say regarding MediEvil or Medieval or whatever you want to call it. Tomato, tomato. It is what it is. But hey, if I ever get this game, I'll be the first to let you know how it's pronounced. Okay, but that's all I have to say regarding it.
I'm pretty sure it's medieval.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway,
Yeah.
now we shall move on to WWE 2K20, and where I want to point something out. Since WWE and like all the organizations inside WWE change so much from year to year, hell, even weekly and monthly they change so much. Yearly releases are fine in the WWE franchise because you'd have to reorganize absolutely everything and who is and who's not playing, who's not in the company anymore. I've got plenty of friends who can and do agree with this as well. Visual Concepts, who usually has had, help developing the games, they go hand in hand with a different developer. This is the first one in the 2K series, solely developed by them. And this is also the first game in the 2K series to feature a female cover star with Becky Lynch, aka The Man, alongside Roman Reigns.
The Man. For a second, I thought it was Aquaman.
No, it's just
He
The
looks
Man.
very much like Jason Momoa.
So out of all the 2K20 games, this is probably the ones that you have the least gripes about, I assume.
Of all like the 2020 the ones titled 2020 or 2K20, yes, this is the one I have the least gripes with, because I mean, other than MLB The Show, which
Right.
Is actually a great game, which doesn't really have microtransactions, but WWE 2K20, because I mean, Kyle, you say it's another 2K crash grab, but again, You have to understand that because it's the WWE and how frequent everything changes, you can't just re-release. You can't just, say, oh,
It
why
won't
don't
be
they just
re-released
re-release last
anyway
year's
by virtue
game?
of how far everything changed.
And guys, the reason why a lot of these titles are called 2K20 is because 2020 is coming up.
Yes, it is. They're cashing in. It's like, hey, this is the sports game to play mostly in 2020 until 2K21 comes out, and then you play that in 2021. But again,
Yeah.
I'm fine with this series being a yearly release. I believe actually you can play as the wrestler Chyna, Chyna. I believe that is like a promotional wrestler you can pick up, which I'm not sure when the last game Chyna was in, so don't quote me on that. But, if you like WWE and you really haven't picked up a game since like 2K16 or 2K17, go ahead and pick this one up. The standard release comes out on Windows, PS4, and Xbox One on October 22nd. Again, I can understand why you guys are saying, oh, it's another yearly release. Why don't they just update last year's? Because there's all different kinds of company. Like, there might be some companies who are now affiliated with WWE, like AWE and NXT, as well as all the rosters that have drastically changed. It's not just like, oh, hey, here's, some players who got traded to other teams in the NFL. You're talking about actual, like, wrestling companies and factions being changed. It's not that easy to, update for like 2K19. And that's like, I again agree. It's like Chyna passed away in 2016. Yeah, so it's been a couple years since Chyna has been in a WWE game. Again, you can just say it's like, oh, it's another yearly sports title. I don't want to pick this up, and that's fine. I'm not going to stop you from that. But you got to take into consideration what the WWE, like, as a company is and how often it changes and how often people come in, come out of the company.
And how
like,
often there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in the company that isn't really addressed. Yeah.
There is, but
I mean, just watch John Oliver if you don't
Vince
know what
McMahon's
I'm thinking.
a dick, but
well, Vince McMahon has always been a dick.
It was me, Austin.
Yeah.
It was me all along. You all bought it.
No, but really, fun fact, my absolute favorite wrestler would have to be The Undertaker, and for good reason. And yes, for those asking what my opinions were,
The Undertaker.
that Brock Lesnar freaking broke like Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Yeah, I find it bullshit just as much as you do. But anyway, I love WWE.
The love of mankind, Shane just exploded through our table. I'm sorry, I could just keep making these jokes.
Wait, Shane McMahon?
Yeah, there was one WrestleMania where there was a cage match, and it was Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker.
Oh, shit.
And The Undertaker was on a table, like, down below.
Uh-huh.
It was one of those breakable tables, and Shane jumped off of the cage to try to land on The Undertaker. The Undertaker rolled out of the way at the last second, and he just crashed through the table, and the announcers were just like, for the love of mankind, Shane has just exploded through our table.
Those were one of the announcers, right?
Yes, those were the announcers.
Yeah, I'm glad.
But
yeah, WWE is a great franchise in terms of video games. I never really seem to see problems with them. But that's really all I have to say regarding WWE 2K20. I don't know a lot of people who talk about WWE nowadays, but,
I have to say it's my favorite. I've never actually played them, but I think the favorite part of it is the character creator and how much fun you can have with it. The game room's made a terrifying character, but then Achievement Hunter also made the Undertaker. There's a woman who looks like the Undertaker. Made a Pikachu character. Made a guy, I don't know, covered in white or something, and then made Garbo Man. And his entrance is excellent. I am Garbo. I think that like the theatrics thing can be really funny. Other than that, I'm like kind of indifferent to WWE as a thing. It's like, oh yeah, sometimes I see stuff related to it and it's funny or entertaining, but then I'm like,
I mean, SmackDown's on Fox now, so
Or I just saw a commercial. The next one, I believe, is going to be on FS1, which is also Fox Sports 1, their whatever special channel. But I don't know, for those of you interested.
there's
I just
sports
saw a
channel
commercial
that
while I was
replaced
watching
the Speed
football.
Network. Rest in peace.
I am Speed.
Anyway, can I move on to my final game of this week, which I kind of don't want to talk about because of the publishing company that's related to a certain other company that's in the news right now.
Yeah, go ahead. You love the sting of defeat towards another company, don't you?
Yeah, but there's just it's bullshit. I don't want to go into it like I did last week, but I really don't want to talk about Activision right now because of all the stuff that relates to one of their other companies, Blizzard, and what's going on in Hong Kong. Sure, the multiplayer looks great, and it's more tactical, and the 2v2 game mode looks a lot of fun, but there's elephants in the room, like how they said that there's not going to be microtransactions like they did with Crash Team Racing, but a month later, what was in Crash Team Racing? Microtransactions. But
Like in the same energy as from the South Park game, microaggressions.
Yeah.
Microtransaction.
Anyway,
But this is a soft reboot of the Modern
Except you
Warfare
don't get to punch
franchise,
people in that.
meaning that everybody's favorite character, Captain Price, is back, but we don't have Soap,
Was
we
he the
don't have
Scottish
Ghost,
one?
we don't have Roach.
Was Captain Price the Scottish guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember everyone.
We don't
loved him.
have-
I loved listening to his voice too. He's very, very charismatic.
There's no Zakhaev, there's no Makarov, so really the only returning character is Price. The story is shifting towards heavy and troubling, realistic, emotional moments, that which you can compare to the likes of No Russian in Modern Warfare 2, such as being a child soldier, and in certain missions, you can shoot innocent civilians, including infant children. This is some heavy shit.
yeah. How did this get past censorship again?
Maybe a little too real. I mean,
Well,
maybe
they
it,
wanted
maybe
to.
it honestly
They're pushing
didn't.
the boundaries. Really.
I mean, I understand this is a
We
war
literally
game.
had the school. The I don't know how far this went. The simulator, but I mean, honestly, I think that if you're gonna do something like that, like the school shooting simulator, like that. As far as like maybe a VR game, maybe simply make it like a training thing to like training how to handle those kind of situations for police or something. But do not sell it. I would say don't. It's just not. It's not a good thing to do. And I say this as a supporter of the Second Amendment. just don't.
I mean, like here's the thing. Here's the thing. I understand it's a war game, but this isn't freaking like.
They're not pornographizing war. They're actually trying to say, "Hey,
No,
this shit really happens. We're not
I
going to turn a
understand.
blind eye to it."
Right, but this isn't Saving Private Ryan here.
And the problem is that people interpret that as being like saying like, oh, it's supposed to be more realistic. No, you're an apologist for Nazis or something. I don't know. It's like, well, then what choice do we have? Like, well, it's you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's either way. Like shooting games are, on trial as it is, and pretty much always have been. So it's like,
Except for Halo.
it doesn't really
Halo
matter what
rules.
happens.
But anyway, so regarding this particular,
I'm not done. I'm not done. You guys interrupted me in the middle, and I'm just like, I still have more stuff to talk about.
anyway, continue.
I was just like, oh, I'm going to talk about my feelings about this game, even though I know I'm not. Even though I know I'm not done.
I literally forgot. Just continue. Pretend it didn't happen.
The main, the darker story, I'm fine with that. I want it to be, they compared it to more like Spec Ops The Line with how more realistic of a story it is. A game that gets you about every Geneva Convention violations. Actually,
Every time you make a war crime, you get kicked from the match.
Actually, there's already been a controversy with the game with the use of white phosphorus as a kill streak in the multiplayer beta, which I believe has since either been removed or has been changed to something else.
Can you define white phosphorus for
It
those
is
who
a
don't know
chemical
what it is?
weapon.
Is it? Phosphorus? Does it just burn people?
Yeah,
Like
it is
chemical
it's chemical warfare.
it's got to be, yeah. Which is a great Slayer song, by the way. It's great live also, but I've seen it again. Sorry, but Chemical Warfare, you can see how horrific it can be, especially if you just listen to Sabaton's The Attack of the Dead Men. Russians charging who were basically coughing up chunks of their lungs. They're like, we're not dead yet, but Chemical Warfare is pretty fucking bad. Yeah, this gets into all these little rabbit holes and shit like that. Great discussion starter.
But I have issues with the way that Activision is handling things. First, they were going to actually add tons of microtransactions, but instead then said, nah, we're going to have a battle pass, which I don't believe Activision in this case. Then they were going to lock the Spec Ops survival mode on PlayStation 4 for an entire year, even though in like the reveal trailer or like the most recent release trailer that was, supposed to be the global trailer, it says, play Spec Ops Survival worldwide, on the date that this game comes out. And I'm just like, I don't believe that. Yeah. I don't believe that they're still not going to lock it on PlayStation 4 for a year, which is the entire life cycle of a Call of Duty game, because it is a yearly release. And if they did, even if they did decide to scrap it and say, hey, we're going to release it alongside, or, just delay it a little bit, what was Activision thinking about?
Right.
Seriously.
I see what you're saying.
I've seen gameplay of this game. It looks great, but because it's Activision, I have several issues with this game. And, the decisions with the game, much less the fact that Activision and Blizzard have really been shooting the bed hard, #free Hong Kong. Look, if you want to pick it up, go on ahead. I'm not stopping you. Modern Warfare 2019 releases for PC, PS4, and Xbox One on October 25th.
So I'm just going to level with you. I've never really cared about Call of Duty. To me, Call of Duty is just the game where like people became more about the guns and less about the actual good games. Yeah, I'm actually going to make a bold statement right there. But one question I do need to ask: why is there a Call of Duty called Black Ops if there are no black cops in it? Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Very funny original joke.
Hey, I got that from Smosh, so you can thank me later.
Very funny original
the
joke.
golden days of YouTube. Yeah, the only Call of Duty game I've personally played was World War II, just because it seemed very interesting. And honestly, my only gripe with that game, and honestly, what's his fucking name? He was the actor he's also in Transformers, who was also the army guy. I forget his name, Josh something, but I'm going to look it up real quick, but I'm also going to talk.
Man, you need to play Call of Duty World at War. That's the better World War II.
Wait, what Transformers are you talking about?
Any of them. Josh Hammond, is that his name?
What? Okay, can you back up again? What are you talking about?
Oh, God, I forget. Sorry. I'm being a dumb.
Josh Hammond was not in a Transformers game. Come on.
What's his name? Fucking
Shia
Josh Duhamel. That's his fucking name.
Oh.
God damn it. I had a real brain fart there. But yeah, Josh Duhamel is in it, and his voice acting was pretty excellent. The campaign of World War II, excellently done. Very engaging. Honestly, it really seemed to do especially the Battle of the Bulge justice with how Screaming Eagles by Sabaton recounts it. Basically being pinned to where you are. The desperation, and it's freezing cold. It's right around Christmas time. My only gripe with that game is that the campaign was way too short. It was only the American push from like 40. From Normandy to towards the end of the war. They also, I think, did have a good stealth mission where you kind of had to go around, giving the secret message to people and like figure out who's the spy. The online, I don't know, not that great. I got upset, honestly. I rage quit because I saw the kill cam of my character, and a grenade went through the ceiling, landed on my head, and killed me. I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. But yeah, that's my Call of Duty experience. And honestly, probably not going to pick this up. But just because, there's so many of them, it's like World War II is just an exception.
I can give you a list of games that you would probably really enjoy.
And it wasn't their first World War II game, I believe.
No, it is not Call of Duty's first World War II game.
There was
the original 3 were World War II games, then World War, and then World War II.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I'm just going to give Krüz a list of games that he would enjoy that I believe are all backwards compatible or have been re-released at some point on the Xbox One, which are Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which Modern Warfare Remastered, duh. World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1 and 2, as well as Modern Warfare 3. If you can enjoy those core games, those are the peak Call of Duty games, in my opinion.
Before it went to,
Before it went downhill. If you want to pick up Black Ops 3, I'd say because, Black Ops 3 to me is worth it for zombies alone.
Yeah, I've played the Black Ops. I think it was 3 zombies. It was actually just because one of the hotels. Yeah, I think it was the Bellagio we were staying at in Vegas. They had some consoles, so a room with a game room with consoles and stuff. And my friend and I were staying there with our families. Obviously, we're playing that game. Where you have to go around, shoring up your defenses and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think I enjoy more watching than playing because I've watched a lot of Achievement Hunter play, especially Blackout. Them playing that is really entertaining. The boat boys, they always go to the dam and always parachute into a boat.
Mm-hmm.
That's their thing.
Really, if you can enjoy the stretch of Call of Duty from Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare to Black Ops 2, those I think are the core games in the franchise that you would really enjoy for story as well as their kind of side modes. I wouldn't recommend the multiplayer, at least in Black Ops 2, because I had a friend on stream get DDoSed by a hacker in Black Ops 2.
Yeah, there's an unfortunate thing about, I didn't have high hopes going into the multiplayer for Call of Duty. I know there's the memes about the toxic community and all that shit, but it doesn't fucking matter to me. Honestly, the only real multiplayer game I actually played in this vein which I really enjoyed, was Battlefield 1. I really enjoyed the multiplayer, especially because the one run, especially I think my KD was 40-4. I went through the first section 16-0 because I'm a tank master operator, especially the ones with the flamethrowers. I love those. But yeah, I guess that's enough war games talk.
Yes.
For now.
We are going to move on to something that
which
could
is
get
also
us a copyright strike.
Movie.
But let's hope it doesn't. Anyway, transition.
Go ahead, go.
Oh, well, I was going to...
There's the music the music and the newspaper spin.
I was expecting you to say movies, but it's okay. Well, in a recent interview, a representative of G-Kids, that is the Gorilla Kids International Distribution Syndicate, not the mammals, so get that out of your head.
Guerrilla, guerrilla warfare. Okay.
Posted a statement. Okay, they posted a statement regarding Studio Ghibli's films that release digitally, something that hasn't been done ever. They replied, Studio Ghibli does not make their films available digitally, whether for download or streaming anywhere in the world. They continue to believe that presentation is vital and particularly appreciate opportunities for audiences to experience the films together in a theatrical setting. Well, just a mere 1 day later after this news, apparently HBO has decided to take up the helm by replacing Studio Ghibli's films, by placing, that is every film they, I'm sorry, I cannot read today. Appreciate, fuck.
I understand the feeling.
Okay, so apparently HBO has decided to take up the helm by placing Studio Ghibli's films, that is every film they made, not just the ones by Hayao Miyazaki, on their new platform, HBO Max, that will be arriving in early spring of 2020 next year. That includes Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, everything. There is a brief history of Studio Ghibli's English distributions in that they were owned by Disney at one point, but the rights ended up lapsing and G-Kids earned sole stewardship of the entire catalog. The biggest reason why Studio Ghibli, specifically Miyazaki's works, have never been digitally released is a good one. Miyazaki-san's hasn't had the best relationship with Hollywood over the years, where a lot of his works were butchered in the American dubbing releases. G-Kids basically wants to stay true to how Studio Ghibli would like their films to be treated in America, just as how they are treated in Japan, and that an auteur like Miyazaki should never be background noise as the reason why the film is put on. And I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of agree with this. This is the reason as to why there are Ghibli Fests every year, because it paints the picture as to how a film should be seen as opposed to just being seen. Also, note to self, advertise Studio Ghibli Fest on the show. But anyway, however, I'm getting a little off track here.
Please don't sue.
Don't kill us. We love you.
Honestly, with this decision, I do find it a little bit unnerving, if only because HBO is, well, let's be honest. HBO is a company that I have mixed feelings for when it comes to having a certain franchise being put on their channel. They're expensive for a reason, and this won't be any exception. If there should be a streaming service that I could have chosen, it could or should have been Netflix, or at the very least Hulu, because I don't see people subscribing to this service anytime soon, simply because of the fact that, again, HBO is goddamn expensive, and no one wants to pay for it. I honestly either recommend buying the films that either G-Kids now own, or if you're feeling really fancy, go to the Ghibli Fest events that they have every month, every year in theaters. It just makes sense that way. Although, before I end it off, there is one thing that is a bold-faced lie, and I quote, "The Studio Ghibli library on HBO Max marks the first time that the studio's films will ever be offered on a streaming platform." Unquote. Well, this is bullshit, because at one time, some of Ghibli's, though not all, were on early Netflix when their company was growing, and I remember them thoroughly. So, good luck trying to tell the truth on that one. I'm pretty sure they meant their entire library, but, they kind of need to emphasize there. But anyway, guys, I don't think we're going to get a copyright strike for this, just simply having the logo, but you never know. Honestly, what do you have to say regarding Studio Ghibli being put on HBO Max? I know this isn't big news for you, Naka. Krüz, I know you're somewhat of a Studio Ghibli fan, but what do you guys have to say? If
people are paying for HBO, like my family is, technically we would have access to this, so if you're already paying for HBO, go ahead, enjoy it. I'm not one to judge.
This is HBO Max, though.
HBO Max, can't you get HBO Max if you already have an HBO subscription?
I don't know. You would have to ask your parents about that.
Service or as its own thing on a website?
Thought it was. I'm pretty sure it's a streaming service. Let me take a look.
As a website or a different app than, I don't know, HBO Go. I thought they already had things like HBO Go or whatever. I wouldn't pick it up just to see these. I would probably just go, pick and choose and seek these out wherever I could. I went to see Princess Mononoke in theaters, and
you were very, very impressed by it.
Yeah, I really liked it. I've seen Spirited Away, but that was when I was really young when I saw that.
See it in theaters next. See it in theaters.
Barely remember.
I think you should see it in theaters.
Are they doing it? Are they doing another round of it? Because
they are.
I missed most of them.
They are next week in October. If you have the chance to go,
look it up. But I don't know. I'm a lot busy with schoolwork. But I believe I've also seen the Moving Castle. I just remember that achievement. Yeah, I remember that achievement or at least Michael from that had a little bit of a beef with Totoro, in as Michael said, Totoro's barely in the fucking movie. Fuck Totoro, or something like that. But yeah, the character of Totoro, nonetheless, still very iconic. That little weird bunny creature thing
that you see in the icon.
Yeah. Totoro is also the one pictured here. So yeah, there's that. but I think that's kind of funny. It's like, well, Totoro's barely in the fucking movie. What the fuck? Yeah. I don't know. It depends. It would, for me, depend what else is on HBO Go, because I'm already, well, I have a Netflix family account, and then there's Funimation, which I might have to pause actually because I'm too busy to watch stuff on it right now. But yeah, it just means that the subscription for Funimation just means you get it without having 5-minute ads between every 10 minutes of the video.
There's no way it's 5 minutes of ads.
It's like the ads are long and unskippable. If you go on Funimation for free. But I've watched a bunch of animes. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which is pretty funny. I wanted to watch the rest of Mob Psycho because it's from the same makers of One Punch Man, which I still haven't seen season 2, and I really want to, and that annoys me. I also wanted to see Zombieland Saga. That one looks, I don't know, quirky, funny. I've also unironically been a fan of Love Live. But if I were to recommend one to anyone who wants to watch the first anime, I'd recommend probably Assassination Classroom. Probably one of my personal favorites.
So Naka, what do you have to say regarding this particular film?
I already said.
Studio Ghibli. I said Studio Ghibli.
I already said.
I didn't hear it.
I said my piece before Krüz started talking about his thing. Why do you not listen to me?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know why you don't listen to me?
No, Krüz has more interesting things to say than you do.
Oh, I wouldn't go there.
Okay, no. I don't mean to make you angry, but seriously. I'm sorry I didn't listen, but please tell me, what did you say regarding this?
I'm just like, hey, I don't watch their films. I understand that they're masterpieces, but, it's like, I have a very vanilla and kind of boring taste when it comes to my movies.
Okay.
But I've seen a bunch of Studio Ghibli films, and I'm just like, I really only need to see them once or twice and really understand. Like, yeah, these are absolute masterpieces, and they are. But if you've got HBO Max, you do. It's like, if you have HBO Max or you have an HBO subscription, and you have access to HBO Max, go ahead, abuse the hell out of it and watch as many Ghibli films as you want. Me? Yeah. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, so I don't really care. I mean, I got South Park, and we're going down to Integrity Farm's gonna have myself time.
Anyway, what's going on? Let's move on to the week ahead.
I actually, for the longest time, I didn't know that Primus wrote that original song.
Primus?
Primus. I don't know. Because I fucking pronounce things like an idiot. That's why. But yeah.
All right. Why don't we move on to the week ahead? Oh, wonderful. Another film by A24. They hardly ever seem to disappoint us. And this is another film that is no exception. The Kill Team is an American war film written and directed by Dan Krause, a fictionalized adaptation of the events explored by the earlier documentary of the same name. The film stars Nat Wolff, Adam Long, Jonathan Whitesell, Brian Mark, O.C. Ikile, I don't know, Anna Francolini, Rob Morrow, and Alexander Skarsgård from the Skarsgård family. It had its world premiere at Tribeca Film Festival in Manhattan on April 27th, 2019, and screened at the San Diego International Film Festival on October 18th, 2019. A fictionalized event based off an actual documentary tells the story of a U.S. private, Andrew Brigman, who becomes conflicted with his morals when his platoon under his superior, Sergeant Deeks, participate in murdering civilians in the Middle East. And when he contemplates reporting to the authorities, he realizes how much danger he is as the platoon become increasingly violent and Deeks begins to suspect his loyalties. After doing a little bit of research, I realized that this film is based off an actual event known as the Maiwand District Killings, in which 5 men in the U.S. Army were charged with killing innocent civilians in a province in Afghanistan and posting pictures of them and collecting their body parts as trophies. Yeah, deplorable acts of one of the highest degrees and something that is not to be taken lightly in a court of law. They were each sentenced for a certain amount of years in prison, which paints a very bad light in a country where we're supposed to be on equal footing with everyone, especially in the war of Afghanistan. The film paints a certain light as to what you should do when someone is acting atrocious that is outside the norms of a soldier, and whether or not it is right to get involved. How can you approach it in a way where you yourself won't get put in the middle? It's a thriller film that questions not only your mentality, but your emotions as well. If you're interested, the film releases on October 25th. October 25th. But yeah, guys, what do you have to say regarding this film?
I don't know what it is with A24, but they have just been throwing up banger after banger after banger of films.
You really like A24. You're really admiring A24.
After you introducing me to them, I'm just like, wow, look at all the stuff they've done. That's all been good.
I know, right?
The only ones I've seen were, I think, well, honestly, I'll start with Midsommar, because that one, a little underwhelming, but I really like the commitment to authenticity of like Norse mythology and all that stuff. Honestly, if you want to see a good Norse-themed horror movie, I recommend The Ritual. I really like that one. Speaking of horror movies, Hereditary was a fantastic horror movie, probably the best one, the best one I've seen since The Conjuring.
I'm sorry. Yeah. That's like the fourth or fifth time you've advertised. I want to like. I want to get.
Hereditary is so good.
I want to get like a freaking like that meme of Miss Fowl and Sheen and say, Krüz, this is the 7th week in a row you've talked about Hereditary in class. You know.
Carl. Yeah. The Kill Team, I think what I like about it, at least off the bat, is that it looks much less like just a drama film and more like, actually hitting on that, crisis of moral consciousness and all that, like how, obviously they're your enemy, but you also have like the, between what's right and wrong, and also you have to, because I'm studying at least World War One. It's like you have to not be seen as a traitor or a sympathizer. So it's really difficult to like speak out in that way. It's difficult to successfully speak out. I mean, you can obviously do it. You'll just pay for the repercussions, or at least be silenced. So that's kind of a thing. It's kind of an ugly thing, and a lot of people, don't want to think about, but it does and has happened, unfortunately, and it really that's kind of also a plot point in The Punisher too, because it was like they wanted to expose people were being tortured. I forget exactly what it was, but it's like it was something similar to this, because the Jigsaw, I guess who he is now, and the Punisher, Frank Castle, were in the same division in, I believe, Afghanistan. But yeah, a lot to unpack, I guess, from this as well.
Anyway, is that all for the Kill Team? Naka, would you go see this movie?
Even though it's about a dark subject matter, yes.
Yeah, because A24. If that's
well, A24 and the fact that anybody who just kills hurts innocent civilians, because there are people who are in need, who are just trying to survive while their country is fighting for hope or whatever. Yeah, that gets to me. I think you can understand why.
Anyway, so we're gonna move on to probably the movie that most people are gonna go see because hey, Halloween, scary horror. No, so. It has nothing to do with it. So, let me get this straight. They made a film about a phone app that literally counts down the day you die, and they never bothered to make one in real life for advertising. What a missed opportunity.
That would be too much fucking with people, I think. Just a little bit.
But just in time for Halloween, Countdown is an upcoming American horror film directed and written by Justin Deck. The film stars Elizabeth Lail, Jordan Calloway, Talitha Bateman. Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with me? Talitha Bateman. I don't know if it's any connection with Nick Wilde. I mean Jason Bateman. Sorry, I almost messed up there. Tachina Arnold, PJ Byrne, Peter Facinelli, Ann Winters, and Tom Segura. A basic horror film that has a basic premise. A nurse downloads an app that claims to predict the moment a person will die. It tells her she only has 3 days to live. With the clock ticking and a figure haunting her, she must find a way to save her life before time runs out. What really surprises me about this film is not the directing, writing, or acting, it's the advertising. Even though it's not the advertising I wanted, but, I guess you make do with what you got. Maybe it was too expensive. Whatever, I understand. Let's continue. I don't know if I just got lucky or something, or if I was watching a YouTube video, but apparently the advertising has been treating this film as if it was the next Paranormal Activity. Oh, not by plot, but by audience reaction recorded with a ghost cam. And yeah, this is kind of interesting. I don't see all this often, but does that really mean it's good? Just because you copy a gimmick that a popular franchise has done doesn't mean it will work here. Who knows? The advertising could be lying for all we know, or in a bizarre twist, it actually could be well done. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't have much to say regarding the film itself other than it looks like to be a film that will be a Halloween popcorn flick and nothing else. And that's about it. And you know what? Good for you. I don't really care. I'm just not interested. But hey, the audiences will probably have fun based on the advertising, so at least it's so long as it's not false. The film releases on October 25th. What do you have to say regarding this?
Krüz, go ahead.
Just a quick little search. It doesn't seem like the Bateman is related to Nick Wilde, but
I don't think so
I think it says, where is it? It said that Gabriel Bateman was in some horror movies, Annabelle, Lights Out, Child's Play, and that yeah, Talitha was in Annabelle Creation. So yeah, I mean, there's that, but. I think this is, as far as how this movie goes, it's really following, I guess, the Unfriended kind of vibe of being like how, technology related. It almost seems to be on the very verge of horror comedy, just in that, of course, there's comedy and horror that it just happens, but it seems like seems like such a ridiculous concept that like happens, like when she buys the new phone in the trailer and then the app is still there. Yeah, there's little like theory holes you could poke in it, like, well, if sudden things change, it's like, does it know exactly when you're gonna die? Like if you actually go out and like jump off a roof, like say if it says you still have 2 days left and you jump off the roof that same day, you won't die? I don't know. That's reading a little too much into it. But yeah, it seems like a simple kind of horror movie that, if Death Day is anything to go by, which seems to have been better than it sounded, because it warranted a sequel apparently. At least from what I've seen on the kill count on Dead Meat channel, they seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. I still need to watch today's video.
Oh yeah, The Shining. That was more of like a recap of the movie. I mean, there's not much death.
There's not much, but it's still.
Yeah, it was of course a classic horror movie, and the sequel coming out later at some point.
So Naka,
can I say my piece?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's a bit like Unfriended, without the whole technology kind of predicting, or and being integrated with your death. But it's like you buy a new phone, this mysterious app shows up on your phone even after you buy a new one.
It says update complete, and you're like, oh, fuck.
It's the meta It's basically the meta navigator from Persona 5 in that kind of way. And it's an interesting twist of elements. Maybe it's just like, yeah, it's like, this is when you're going to die unless you have your change of heart or your heart is stolen by the Phantom Thieves.
Basically.
So it's definitely interesting from the way that I'm seeing things. So I might go see it. I might not. I might wait for it to come out in DVD and watch it then. But
I might remember this whenever it becomes eligible for Dead Meat to cover. I guess his rule is that he is able to review things when it's available on DVD, Blu-ray, stuff like that. Yeah.
I do not know who this Lugosi is. Scarfy, do you know who this Lugosi is and why is he best boy?
Is he the bestest boy of all the bestest boys? He's the bestest boy.
Well, unfortunately, I cannot do that, and I don't know who this person is. I would assume he's with us, but
We cannot answer your question at this time. We are sorry.
I cannot answer your question at this time because it is it's not that time yet. So,
is it
Anyway.
Stars or something like that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we're gonna move on.
Do you
to
actually
our...
not know what I'm talking about, or are you just saying it's like I don't know what you're talking about, as in I don't want to spoil anything?
Neither.
So that's a yes.
I'm not gonna answer your question.
So it isn't about B-Stars.
We're gonna move on.
It's about B-Stars.
We're gonna move on. So we're talking about a film that. Sorry. Sorry.
Take a cough drop. Damn.
Sorry, I was eating crackers off mic. Anyway, so we're going to talk about a film that does have an interesting premise, yet unfortunately was supposed to be released 2 years ago. Why? More on that later. The Current War is an American historical drama film that directed by Alfonso Gomez-Rejon and written by Michael Mitnick. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Michael Shannon, alongside Nicholas Hoult, Tom Holland, Catherine Watterson, Tuppence Middleton, and Matthew McFadden. I don't know. Martin Scorsese also serves as an executive producer. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 9th, 2017. So, what happened? Well, the film at the time was being distributed by the Weinstein Company, and... yeah, you can basically put the pieces together just hearing those three words. The allegations against Harvey Weinstein were starting to surface, thus, due to the film having his fingerprints on it for editing, the film had to basically be shelved for a good 2 years. The film was then handed off... yeah. The film was then handed off to the now Lantern Entertainment, who then handed it to 101 Studios for distribution purposes, culminating in the film after 2 years finally being released. Now let's get to the plot. The film presents the story of the war of the currents between electricity titans Thomas Edison and partners George Westinghouse and Nikola Tesla, which determine whose electrical system would power the modern world. Edison has decided on direct current, but it is limited in range and expensive, while Westinghouse sets out to prove alternating current can work over long distances at significantly lower cost.
And we have the best of both worlds with AC/DC.
Edison and Westinghouse compete to get cities across the United States to use their system. Edison suggests that AC is dangerous and engages in a publicity war, while Westinghouse stands behind the technical merits of AC as Edison struggles to find ways to make DC more affordable. Westinghouse attempts to get high voltage AC system and work with motors. The competing systems come to a head. They put both forward proposals to eliminate the Chicago's World's Fair. Now, I didn't write that. That is literally the premise of the film. And for the movie, it looks really impressive. I can only hope the film does indeed make a better splash with its new distributor. But let's be honest, they're just in charge with releasing the film, not much else. I just hope the film is good since it does have some A-list actors in there. However, that is all I can say. The film released on October 25th. So, Naka, Krüz, what do you think about this film?
I mean, we can thank Nikola Tesla for Teslas, but we can thank...
Nothing will be ever named Tesla again. Bum, bum, bum.
But we can thank Edison for literally everything else.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, both ended up being used, and this is it's an interesting topic, I think. So, and it's got a good cast with Cumberbatch and honestly Tom Holland, obviously, Tom Holland. But yeah, it looks like it's a genuinely interesting movie. Because I didn't get to see some of the other ones that we actually did show the trailer to this. I think it's coming out around Christmas on 1917, also with Benedict Cumberbatch. We showed it to our World War I professor. He was also interested in it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see that as well. It's also Cumberbatch, but yeah, him and being in this little historical drama movie, yeah, this one looks interesting to me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go and see it, but I'm gonna have the time to do it. But it's definitely gonna be on my radar. To do.
What were you gonna say?
The whole
Naka?
Edison versus Tesla thing is interesting enough on its own, and when you have Butter Cucumber as the lead role, Butter Cucumber, you have Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in this film.
I know, right?
Speaking of Spider-Man, I believe he also stars alongside Iron Man in one of our coming attractions. I looked up the cast for a movie, and I'll talk about it when I get there, or when we get there.
Yes, agree. Anyway,
but it looks interesting. Can I get my words out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a great Tesla coils are pretty metal. There was an interesting shirt I seen. I forget where I saw it, but it was like a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat looking like deathmatch thing. It was like Edison versus Tesla, and both of them have like lightning bolts in their hands and stuff like that. Something like that. That was just a random bit. I can move on. Glass vessel. The best player.
Anyway,
have a good night, Cody.
Bye, friend.
Anyway, we're gonna move on. Well, is that all we have to say for the current war? All right, we're gonna move on to our coming attractions, and just a forewarning before I begin, these are the coming attractions that we were supposed to talk about, as well as the new trailers that have been released, because
fuck you, Chad.
Basically. Anyway,
that ice cream shit.
Quick, we gotta get this done.
We're gonna start off with Santa Claus. No, really, Klaus.
He's not the Santa Claus.
A postman is posted to a frozen town in the north where he discovers a toy-making carpenter. Together, they would inspire a legend.
Ooh, a magical man that comes down. He does a B&E, but he gives you stuff, not steals stuff.
I mean, the animation's nice.
I mean, yeah.
I'll
give you that. It's probably going to be a good movie, but the whole thing about Santa Claus is like, yeah, he breaks into your house. He leaves you stuff, but apparently he also steals stuff too because he leave out food for him, and then he just leaves.
Basically.
Theoretically, he's committing so many property crimes that he should never be allowed to leave his home ever again.
Well, we're going to move on to Krüz. Anything you want to say?
Klaus. It's gonna be another one that's on Netflix. Honestly, I approve of this trend. I don't know. It more affects your realm of expertise, but I like this trend because it's if not removed, it's at least diminished the sort of direct to video or direct to service like curse. If like good movies are being put to that.
I wouldn't really call this direct-to-video, if only because it's owned by Netflix, and it's going to be distributed by Netflix.
I don't know, because like the only thing before this was direct-to-video, like direct-to-DVD. If it's like just to streaming services versus... Because with this, you can have ones that are direct... The ones that go to theaters and to Netflix at like around the same time. Good old sinocentrism. This genuinely looks like a good holiday movie to gather around and watch. I mean, it's like, to me, the ones I really like to watch are like the stop action, like, I forget what to tell. It's like A Christmas Story. No, it's the one with the mailman. Yeah, and he goes around like talking about, I don't know, stories of people and whatever stuff. And Rudolph is involved and all that shit. It's one of those movies, but I really like watching those movies every year. Yeah, and this seems like it could be a nice addition to that.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to our next film, Six Underground. We talked about this, I believe, in the I believe I teased this in
last week's A24 thing.
Yeah, basically, it was I believe it was the Lighthouse, right? The Lighthouse. 6 billionaires fake their own deaths and form an elite vigilante squad in order to take down the notorious criminals. It looks interesting. That's really all I can say. I don't really know what else to say.
It's got Ryan Reynolds. There's that.
Yeah, he's going to swear a bunch now, too.
Good guy, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is always a good guy.
Oh, yeah, and I saw
he's got a tricycle. It's a serious medical condition.
I saw this, but yeah. I saw Detective Pikachu in Budapest, and it was... I guess I could say I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away, but I enjoyed it. So,
do you want me to move on to the next one?
this one looks interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, yeah. And then we go...
Earthquake Bird. A young woman living in Tokyo becomes the prime suspect in a horrific murder when her friend goes missing in the wake of a tumultuous love triangle. So is there such a thing as Blizzard Steak? I don't know.
Oh, shit, Blizzard.
No, but really, what do you guys have to say regarding this film? This film does look interesting, to say the least.
Oh, you're just jealous because he loves me more. Part of me seems like it's going to be one
trailer.
of those
I did
films.
do my homework, but I completely forgot what it was. I'm stupid.
Honestly, I'm not too interested in this. I'll be honest.
No, I definitely understand what you're saying, because this is just kind of... yeah. Anyway.
It's the two people pointing at something who are in tears, and then it's just the cat.
The cat. I love that meme.
Anyway. We're going to move on to our next film, The Gentleman, a very British drug lord who tries to sell off his highly profitable marijuana empire to a dynasty of Oklahoma billionaires.
Oh, it sounds like
Damn.
Randy trying to sell the Chinese because he doesn't have any more integrity.
Now
Can
it
we-
just so
can
happens
we-
that I have.
Can we please go to Tegrity Farms?
Going down to Integrity Farms, gonna meet some friends of mine. Yeah, I would love to visit Integrity Farms. But yeah,
I just smoke some weed. I don't know what's going on.
No, you're a towel.
Congratulations, you all just got pwned by a towel.
I definitely see why. This film does look interesting, to say the least, if only because, it's a film that takes place with a British person who is selling their...
I mean, don't forget the
Oklahoma.
British did sell weed too. And honestly, I forget what this movie is called. Scruffy might happen to know, but the ending of the movie ends with there's like a police raid on their weed farm, and there's a fire that starts, and then it's just a musical montage scene where like the police and everyone like running around it, they're just high as shit because the weed farm was burned. It was just really funny.
Anyway,
Very
we're going to
British.
move on to another film that is The Personal History of David Copperfield. Plot to be determined. Not much to say regarding this film. I
guess to clarify, it appears to not be about the magician.
I wanted to say it was about the magician, but I couldn't tell if it was.
I would think, because I mean, I know I'm pretty sure Dave Copperfield is white, but you have Dev Patel playing it. I'm like, I believe it's about someone else, but it's more like a very British comedy kind of looking movie. I liked how it looked from the trailer, honestly.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next film, The Turning. A young governess is hired by a man who has become responsible for his young nephew and niece after the deaths of their parents. And it has Finn Wolfhard in it.
The cover of this, like with the spider. Spiders crawling side by side, to and night by night.
Krüz, Naka, what is your opinion on Finn Wolfhard?
I mean, to see him in more movies are really good. I think the last, other than of course there's Stranger Things.
In Chapter 1 and 2.
Yeah. For movies. He's also been with the he's done guest appearances on the Game Grumps, which was pretty fun. Especially because Finn and Jacksepticeye were there. It was really fun, like mashup of people. What's the other movie I saw him in? I didn't see the last other movie that I guess he was supposed to be listed in. But yeah, I think he's definitely becoming a staple young actor and seems to be doing very well for himself. I think he does a good job of being, because you got to have diversity in your portfolio, I guess. My dad has a little golf shirt about that. It's like diversified portfolio because he works in investing and financial management, and it's like all the golf clubs being different and all that. But yeah, that's just a banker joke. But yeah, he's be able to be like a funny, awkward teenager, and also being able to be like a creepy kind of like I don't know, maybe like antisocial kid kind of like thing. So I think he's really good young actor.
Anyway.
I think I'm not sure. I think what this trailer does is really like, it's a hard thing for horror movie trailers to do a good job. It doesn't give too much away. It just makes it, you understand something's wrong. You don't understand what's wrong, but it looks like, oh shit, things might be good.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid, and I hope he has a long career.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Wubba Lubba Dub Dub, a scientist.
That's my thing.
I'm Pickle Ree.
Rick and Morty, season 4. A scientist and a young man go on wacky adventures that are out of this world, causing mayhem in the universe.
9 more seasons.
I really want this series to be good because I've been watching Rick and Morty and I really do enjoy the hell out of it. It's so much fun.
I've never watched an episode.
What, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't watch TV, dude.
Well, do you have Hulu?
Yes.
Then watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. I watched it on I sort of did it on a little sketchier website, kisscartoon.io, which, you know, I've since stopped using because it's a little bit like, I don't want to get a fucking virus from this. Though I have an Apple computer, so I don't really have to worry about that. Burn. The other thing, I haven't seen every episode of Rick and Morty, but honestly, the news that, you know, it's continuing, I think that's, you know, good on them.
The problem is yeah.
Hopefully, see what they have to deliver.
The only problem I have with Rick and Morty is that it only happens every 2 years. Like, I want Rick and Morty to happen now.
Is it a Rick and Morty year?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know how it goes.
If you haven't seen it, because honestly, it's another thing where like there's a little bit of a, what's it called? Stereotype on the fan base, like a better word, because like some of the fans are fucking idiots. But the show is good, but it's just some of the fans are just like stupid. Some people having like a fucking hissy fit in McDonald's and whatever shit.
Oh,
like,
the guy who jumped up on the counter and like put his head over his shirt over his head. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Pickle Ree, as he called himself. Pickle Ree. Yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke post.
It's joke.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next film.
Yay, media bias.
No, really. Richard Jewell, an American security guard, heroically saves thousands of lives from an exploding bomb at the 1996 Olympics, but is unjustly vilified by journalists and the press who falsely report that he was the terrorist.
Fucking
I'm not gonna
Fox
lie.
News pieces of shit.
I'm not gonna lie. This looks like an actually good premise. What do you have to say?
Yeah, it shows you the dangers of media bias and how somebody can literally be labeled as a terrorist who actually saved thousands of lives.
Yeah, that's another thing that is, again, very much relevant today, and being like how it's just, and this isn't like not either left or right direction, but just being like how if there's a person that's the subject of media attention, there is obviously going to be a positive and a negative direction, regardless of affiliation of left or right side of the aisle or center. That's unfortunately, media seems to have become hyper focused on that. Yeah, Shutter remembers this. I don't, because that's the year I was born. I think, depending on when it was, I was born January, so it probably was when I was a wee lad, as it were. But there's a lot of there's a problematic relationship with media reporting, and honestly, and also, there's another bit that the museum in DC is supposedly closing at some point. I guess it's somewhat related. I'm glad I got to go before that happened.
Anyway. But yeah, Richard Jewell. I personally can't wait. I just hope the movie looks good. I really do want to go see it because it does look interesting. I want to know what it's all about regarding the film is also directed by Clint Eastwood. Let that speak for itself. So we'll see what happens, what it has to say. We're going to move on to our next film starring Adam Driver with The Report. An idealistic Senate staffer tasked by...
few starting Adam Driver.
Tasked by his boss to lead an investigation into CIA's post 9/11 detention and interrogation program uncovers shocking secrets. Yeah, this is one of those films where, like, I don't want to say it's like, where people
Put on your tinfoil hats, everyone.
basically,
The government is watching.
this does look like an interesting premise. I'll give it that. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Naka, Krüz, anything you want to say regarding this?
Put on your tinfoil hats, everybody, and believe that jet fuel can melt steel beams, can't, I should say, and believe that Alex Jones is right and everything you know
And
about
all
the
the
world
frogs
is
are
wrong.
gay.
And they have chemicals in the water that turn the frickin' frogs gay.
Are you referencing freaking Alex Jones?
I don't
Yes.
like a bunch of chemicals in the water.
Why?
You know what? Honestly,
it's-
the biggest problem with him is that he did not go into voice acting.
Well,
he would be an
Alex-
excellent voice actor, I think.
He is an insane man who I don't believe any of what he says politically, but he is
Excellent voice actor.
hilarious.
His voice, he
really
would be an
is.
excellent villain in some whatever movie. I don't know, some shit. But yeah, the fucking
No, but the fact that it's kind of going
honestly,
to
like the whole thing
conspiracy
about
theories and everything like that, it'll be an interesting movie.
the whole thing about Jeff Hill, it's like you do still realize that a hunk of flying steel at nigh probably about 400 or 500 miles per hour slammed into a building. I don't know. We're not debating the logistics of the events that we all know about, but honestly, there was a dark period kind of after that kind of, there was the Patriot Act and all that whatever other things, and just honestly the world it's an understatement to say the world changed after that day, but this is talking about some of the fallout that came from that and all.
As George Carlin said in his HBO special 2 months after 9/11, it's like, well, here's some of the material I had before September 10th.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next film that is coming out.
Speaking of Fox News,
this actually does look interesting, though. Bombshell. A group of women decide to take on a Fox News head, and take on a Fox News head, and the toxic atmosphere he presided over the network.
Shit on Fox News. What else is new? Fucking.
No, really. I really do want to go see this. Honestly, what do you?
I mean, what?
No, but really, Naka, Krüz, what do you have to say regarding this film? This looks interesting.
I don't know. It seems to. I mean, honestly, with how people would react to this, I can see, why it's kind of like, oh, well, you just don't like it because you're, to the right or whatever. Like, I understand the whole meme about Fox News. I don't choose it. It's just that some people in my family do. It's just their choice. I don't honestly care. But like, there's occasional points that they bring up, like on Fox News, they bring up some points. I'm like, yeah, no one talks about that. Mm-hmm. And that's just shows the rift between media reporting and all that.
I mean, you literally have Charlize Theron literally playing Megyn Kelly. So
there's no one good source. Yeah, Megyn Kelly. Who is it? Greta. What's her name?
She is played by Charlize Theron, and then Nicole Kidman is also playing Gretchen Carlson.
Yeah, and in relation to Tucker, I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. It's kind of seems like a little too fan servicey to the left, just in my opinion. Like, I'm not too far either direction, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's a little bit fan servicey to the left instead of being like a provocative kind of like dramatic, I don't know, insightful news story. I don't know.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on with our next film that I really also want to see, that also stars Adam Driver, as well as Scarlett Johansson.
He's back.
Marriage Story. A stage director and his actor wife struggle through a grueling coast-to-coast divorce that pushes them to their personal and creative extremes. I want to see this. This looks very interesting.
It's
what do you have to say?
Celebrity bullshit. I don't care.
It is not celebrity bullshit. What are you talking about? It's not even based on a true story.
It's still technically about celebrity bullshit.
It is not celebrity bullshit. Cut the crap.
He said technically.
This film is directed by Noah Baumbach. How can it not be? How is it
Who?
celebrity gossip?
Bombach.
Noah Baumbach.
Never heard.
I've heard that name before. It's quite a name, though.
He directed the film Aquatic Life with Steve Zissou, The Squid and the Whale. I believe he was a writer for Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
He also directed the film Kicking and Screaming for 1995 film.
Was that the thing with Will Ferrell as the soccer
No,
coach?
no, that's not it. No.
I think it was called something else like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, Miss Shepard Smith. Yeah, he was.
Oh,
really
yeah, he left
real
too.
newscaster face.
But really, what do you have to say regarding this film, Naka? Because
Meh.
it's not celebrity gossip. I'm telling you that right now. It's not celebrity gossip. And
Hey, let's glamorize divorce.
And as for you, Krüz,
Whether you're glamorizing it or not, honestly, it's an unfortunate fact of life that's a reality more and more frequent to people.
all right.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess this film is trying to look at how this, when your personal life and your professional life kind of overlap in that, you still work with your ex or something like that. It's kind of like being like, ooh, that's weird or funny or whatever shit. I'm fucking.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to.
Another movie that doesn't need to be made.
Spider.
Peter Rabbit
I
2,
Spider.
The Runaway.
Spider.
Are you trying to do your best, like, freaking... Who's that guy? Who's that guy who plays
Patrick
Krug?
Hey, Peter, you got a screwdriver I can borrow?
Warburton.
Yeah.
Warburton.
Patrick Warburton.
I think,
No.
that was him. He's also in Family Guy. It was like his thing. Aaron from
Okay,
Game Grumps did a great
I
impression.
don't... I don't know. Okay, so for the record, I don't know if this is going to give me, like, if they're probably going to do this, because they're probably not, because they're going to try and make it so that it doesn't happen again. But can someone please go up to the projector and put on a horror movie trailer before this movie begins, please? Because that's exactly what they did with the first film.
And they like
Before
burn
the
the
film
film.
began.
Just go,
No,
It's wet season.
They put a horror movie trailer before this movie actually
oh
started.
yeah,
I think it was Hereditary. I think
love
it was
that they did that on
Hereditary. Let me I think it was Hereditary. Let me look
Honestly,
it up.
there's been a few like shining moments with YouTube. I forget what videos it was on, but there was one of the ads for it was for a band called Shattered Sun, and they were playing the song "Burn This, Burn It Down." And honestly, I listened to the song, and it's a really good song. It's about everyone who likes metalcore. Yeah, there's one time YouTube ads were on the money. Sometimes, honestly, there've been some YouTube ads. They weren't video ads; they were just bar ads. But that was for like the new Ghost tour, the band Ghost, of course.
Yeah. Horror movie trailer. I'm just gonna look it up because I really I assume you want this movie to die in a fire.
I didn't even go and see the first one. I don't know
later.
how fucking stupid the other thing was. I'm like,
Yeah,
Peter
it
Rabbit's
was
a childhood fucking story. Leave it back there. You don't need to.
That's so funny. It was Hereditary that played the trailer that played before
the
Peter
wrench.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
So I have like, can that happen again? Can you make it happen again, please? So like we can scare people out of seeing Peter Rabbit.
please. Sushan.
No, but really, Naka, you want this movie to die, right? Naka,
What?
you really want this movie to die, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to our next film, which is based off another ride from Disneyland, Jungle Cruise. Based on Disneyland's theme park ride, where a small riverboat takes a group of travelers through a jungle filled with dangerous animals and reptiles, but with a supernatural element. Yeah, it looks okay, I guess. They announced that there
It's a little too soon and too similar to Jumanji, but honestly, The Rock is entertaining enough himself.
it was reported that there was actually going to be an openly gay character in this Disney movie. Not that it really changes my opinion about this movie at all because I just don't really care.
I remember there was a whole stupid upheaval about the thing in Endgame.
No, really.
I think you've seen that. Like it was when they were at the a la Alcoholics Anonymous kind of circle of like talking about the blip, and that like that there's this guy saying like he and his husband were at the just having dinner, and then one of them just broke down, and there's like because of the shit that was happening, and there were people saying like I think yeah that was an eyebrow raiser a little bit, but like I didn't think much of it beside that, and I was like, okay, well,
anyway. But yeah, that's really all I have to say regarding Jungle Cruise. Naka?
Meh.
All right. We're going to move on to our next
Dr.
film.
Dolittle 4, The Recorder of Doom.
Well, not really. It's more so an actual telling.
This stars both Iron Man and Spider-Man from the
What do you
MCU.
mean Doom? There's no ripping and tearing.
Doolittle, the story of a young veterinarian who has the supernatural ability to speak to animals. Yeah, this trailer is so, like, it is so false advertising. It really is. Like, they're trying to make it seem like this is going to be a big and grand epic adventure, but I cannot take it seriously with the talking animals who move their mouths in it. I just can't. It's not going to happen anytime soon.
Are the CGI animals doing
Here's some of the cast members of Dr. Dolittle 4, The Recorder of Doom, as I'm dubbing it. We have Tom Holland, Selena Gomez, John Cena,
Dun, 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 dun.
Octavia Spencer, Craig Robinson, Antonio Banderas, as well as Robert Downey Jr.
That's a surprisingly star cast for, you know,
a film that has talking animals in it. I'm seriously asking, like, what did it take for this?
Was this like the Zookeeper movie with Kevin James?
I mean, it's better than fucking Furry Vengeance. I'll give you that.
Oh my god, that movie! God, Furry Vengeance. That was a
terrible movie.
That was a trip and a half.
I mean, Furry Vengeance is a god awful piece of shit.
I know, but it was just so fucking ridiculous. The French. Yeah.
No, but really,
sorry.
I don't understand why this film is being made. I don't understand why this film is made.
I'm not understanding why it doesn't have Eddie Murphy in it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering how much money it had to take for those actors to pay to play talking animals. I'm just making that very clear.
I think
if Tom Holland's
Krüz
character dies and doesn't
away
say
for like $250.
Yeah. If Tom Holland's character dies and doesn't say to Robert Downey Jr., who plays Doolittle, Dr. Doolittle, I don't feel so good. I'm going to be very upset if that doesn't happen.
If they actually reference that would be actually kind of disappointing.
I don't know. I think Deadpool was the only one who could really do that. The zip it, Thanos!
We're going to move it to another... We're going to move to another film that I am almost really excited to go see.
Raptor.
Birds of Prey. After splitting up with a crime vigilante, a psychotic woman, and 3 other female superheroes, I should have used quotes right there, come together to save the life of a little girl from an evil crime lord. So basically, Harley Quinn is going to be in her own movie. And honestly, I kind of want to see it. What do you have to say regarding this, Naka?
Yeah, I'd see it.
I mean, maybe it might be better than Suicide Squad. We know that, maybe.
Yeah, it will probably be better than Suicide Squad. I mean, I'm looking at the trailer and it looks very, very decent. Like, just like what was the thing that want to make you see the film?
Harley, Suicide Squad or this?
This.
Because Harley Quinn's actually an interesting character. Yeah, it's not just the character's design and looks that make Harley Quinn an interesting character. It's because there's actually a lot of backstory about Harley Quinn that's we could actually explore. You know what I mean?
So my friend showed me this. Well, he told us not to look at it, and then he showed us the condition known as Harlequin baby. You know what it looks like? I'm not gonna tell you. Don't look it up. It looks like the weird claymation effects they use at the end of Evil Dead when they kill the Deadites, like how that weird claymation stop motion, how they like dissolve into like clay shit. That's what it looks like, and it's very fucking weird. But yeah, I guess this is something I'd probably see just because I've ended up seeing, Suicide Squad, and it might as well because I'm up with the current whatever movies that the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn is in.
Yeah, but anyway, that's really all I have to say regarding that, and I can't believe I've actually had to look up Furry Vengeance to make sure it wasn't another movie that I was thinking of. Anyway, we're going to be moving on to our final trailer, final coming attraction of the night, Onward. This is much more of a trailer update that, funnily enough, stars Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
We have Space Lord and Spoderman.
Yeah, basically.
Why is Tom Holland appearing in everything right now?
I think you mean Spice Lord and Spaderman, but anyway.
It's just that kind of time.
Anyway,
I mean, probably because he's not, doing Avengers. No Avengers level threats have appeared recently.
That and he's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man takes a dump in a coffee can.
No. Two teenage elf brothers
in 2 days. Draw yourself. Well, I helped.
Nope. Two teenage elf brothers embark on a quest to discover if there is still magic out there to spend one day with their deceased father. Actually, honestly, guys, after looking at this trailer, I really want to go see it. I love fantasy. What do you have to say regarding this? The idea of fantasy mixed in with like modern day, consumerism and technological advance where magic is almost becoming non-existent.
My final verdict: I like the idea of the '80s rock metal like van kind of thing, but beyond that, it's just kind of like. It kind of seems like it's trying to be a little too much like whatever the Smurfs movies are like. It seems like it's trying to be a little too much like that. And I'm just like,
no, but really,
did
what
you
do
just
you
do
have
the French in that?
What? Okay, I'm sorry. What the hell is your fetish with the French?
It's a certain Orson Welles commercial. It was a champagne commercial. But he was super wasted.
He was shit faced, and so it's just like you just look at Orson Welles. If people know who Orson Welles is, I told my parents about this, and I was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm laughing at whenever I'm looking at my phone." There's like, "Yeah, I know who he is." It's worth saying, and I basically got hooked onto it because of the Game Grumps, and they're just referencing it so much. And what made me also happy is they were referencing sweating bullets too. Sweating bullets. Great song.
No, but really, Krüz, Nako, would you go see this film?
Maybe, I don't know, consider the 80s rock band aesthetic, but
probably not in theaters, honestly, I would say.
Yeah.
But maybe eventually.
Really?
I don't know, because like
there's something about it that like kind of turns you off.
It's not that, but it's like it's the other side. It's like it doesn't do enough to be like, oh, I'll go see this. I think the ones that did do it for me were, Countdown, probably the Kill Team, or no, actually Current War, and then Kill Team.
The only thing that I'm really hoping
War is probably the most interesting one for me.
I'm gonna say this right now.
Go out to see.
The only thing that I'm hoping is that it's not a repeat of either Monsters University or Brave, because those movies sucked ass. Seriously. They're decent, but no. They're not for me. But anyway, guys, that is it. That's our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing?
Well, we didn't get attacked by the Chinese, so that's good.
And our video is still
free!
up.
Yep.
So, I'm glad to hear that.
Mine.
By the way, Streamlabs, gotta give you that, all that other stuff, please rate, comment, subscribe, all those good stuff. We don't get enough subscribers anymore, do we?
Meh.
We are,
we do
nearing
what
that
we do,
old
we don't what we
200 mark, but that might take a little bit of time, but I
I am
appreciate everyone who's been with us the whole fucking way. It's been a journey and a half. Been through shit and more shit.
Anyway.
It's been fun the whole time.
Please rate, comment, and subscribe as always. Donate to us on Streamlabs if you ever got the time. And with that, I am Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I'm Scarfy. I mean Krüz.
Don't get drunk. Enjoy the World Series.
And this has been
Don't get
Go
World
Sounders.
Series. Enjoy drunk. And let's go Nats.
And this has been Subwuffer Entertainment. We hope you have a fantastic, fantastic evening. And as always, stay awesome and stay awesome. Have a good night, guys.
And don't forget, stay in milk, eat drugs, and don't try this at home. Have a good night.
Drink responsibly and have a good evening, you fuckers.
Good night, guys.